Jack Carter sat alone at the edge of the landing platform. The stars above him were quiet. It was supposed to be another boring night at Outpost 47, a place where nothing ever happened. The frontier was calm, and the war had not reached this far yet. Most soldiers here just waited for orders that never came. Then the alarm rang. Red lights flashed across the base. Jack grabbed his rifle and ran toward the command center. Its voices filled the hallways. Everyone was confused. No one had expected a ship to arrive without warning. In the control room, Captain Nolan looked at the screen. There it was. It's a single alien ship, hovering just outside the defense zone. It was large and shaped like a long spear, glowing with blue light. "They're not answering hails," said the communications officer. "Keep trying," Nolan said. "Get the defense turrets online." But before the weapons could be powered up, a message came through. It was short and clear. "We wish to speak to a human leader. Bring the one called Jack Carter." Jack froze. "Why me?" he asked, but no one had an answer. Jack had once been part of a peace mission. Years ago, during a scouting trip, he had helped a group of Thaleri escape a pirate ambush. He never thought much of it. But now, it seemed the aliens remembered. He was taken to the landing pad. The alien ship slowly descended, a ramp opened, and a tall figure walked down. She wore silver armor and had deep purple skin. Her eyes were sharp, and her voice was strong. "I am Emissary Ryaka," she said. "I speak for Queen Xalira of the Thalari Empire. I come with an offer." Jack stood still, unsure of what to say. "Our queen wishes to end the war," Ryaka continued. "She offers peace to humanity, but it comes with a condition." Jack nodded slowly. "What kind of condition?" "She will marry a human. It's not a general, not a politician. A soldier. One who knows war and values peace. She has chosen you." Silence fell around the landing pad. Soldiers stared. Officers whispered. "Me?" Jack asked. "Why would your queen want that?" Ryaka looked at him without blinking. "Because you saved our people. Because you did not ask for reward. Because you are not seeking power." The message was sent to Earth Command. Leaders argued for hours. Some thought it was a trap. Others saw it as a chance to end decades of bloodshed. In the end, the answer came back. "Jack, it's your choice," Captain Nolan told him. "We can't force you. But if this is real, you could save millions." Jack sat in his room that night, staring at the photo of his family. He had joined the army to protect them. He had seen too many die. Maybe this was his chance to make it all mean something. He met with Ryaka the next morning. "Tell your queen," Jack said. "I'll come. But only if this is real. No tricks, no lies." Ryaka bowed. "You have her word." The next day, Jack boarded the alien ship. The Thaleri crew watched him with curious eyes. Felt small, like a piece in a game too big to understand. As the ship left Earth's space, Jack looked back one last time. Did not know what waited for him. He did not know if he would return. But he knew one thing. Peace was worth the risk. And if marrying an alien queen could end the war, then he would do it. He stood tall as the stars stretched before him. The galaxy was watching. And Jack Carter was ready. The Thaleri ship moved through space like a silent shadow. Jack sat in a chamber made of dark glass and smooth stone. The air smelled different, like metal and flowers. Strange lights moved across the walls. He felt like he was inside a living creature. The crew did not speak much. They watched him with cold eyes, curious but distant. Jack felt like he was on trial, not on a peace mission. Emissary Ryaka came to him with a simple robe and told him to change. He removed his uniform and put on the robe. It was light and soft, made of silver threads. She led him to a wide hall where the queen waited. Queen Xalira stood near a tall window that looked out into space. Her armor was gone. Now she wore a dark gown that shined like night. Her face was calm. Her voice was deep and clear. "Jack Carter," she said, "welcome to my ship. Soon we will reach my world. But before that, we must speak." Jack nodded. "I want to understand." Xalira turned to face him. "Your people and mine have fought for too long. We both lose. War eats the future," agreed Jack said. "But why marry? Why not just sign a treaty?" "In Thaleri law," she said, "peace sealed by blood is sacred. Marriage between rulers or warriors creates a bond no council can break. Jack looked at her. I'm not a ruler. But you are a symbol, she said. Your name is known in our halls. The soldier who saved Thalari lives without asking for reward, matters to my people. He felt the weight of her words. He had never wanted fame. Now it was dragging him into something much bigger. They landed on the Queen's homeworld hours later. The sky was purple, and the sun had a red glow. Tall towers reached high, and rivers of light moved through the streets. Jack had never seen anything like it. He was taken to a large palace made of black stone. The walls were covered in carvings of old battles. Tall Thalari guards stood still as statues. Inside, Jack met the royal court. They looked strong and proud. Some wore armor, others long robes. Many of them whispered as he passed. Queen Xalira stood beside him. You are my guest, she said. But not all here support peace. Some want war to continue. They think peace is weakness. Jack nodded. He had seen the same back home. One of the elders stepped forward. He had silver hair and sharp eyes. Why should we trust a human? He said. They lie. They destroy. They leave nothing behind. Jack did not get angry. He stepped forward. You don't have to trust me, he said. I came here alone. I left everything behind. Not for power, not for fame, but because I believe peace is worth fighting for. The court was silent, and the elder turned away. Queen Xalira led Jack to a garden behind the palace. Strange trees glowed with soft lights. Flowers opened and closed like they were breathing. You spoke well, she said. I just told the truth, Jack said. She looked at him. If this union is to be accepted, you must pass the trials. Strength, truth, and unity. This is our way. What happens if I fail? Then the peace dies, and the war returns. Jack looked at the glowing trees. He had faced battles before, but this was something else. When do the trials start? Tomorrow, she said. Rest now. That night, Jack lay in a room filled with strange sounds. Music from the wind, from the walls. He closed his eyes, but sleep did not come easy. He thought about Earth, about his family, about soldiers on both sides who wanted to stop fighting. He knew he had to win. Not just for himself, but for everyone. He would face the trials. He would prove he was worthy. And maybe, just maybe, he would find a way to turn this strange path into a new future. Jack stood in the center of the arena. Thalari warriors filled the seats above, watching in silence. The sky was dark red, and the ground beneath him was made of rough stone. This was the trial of strength. He had no armor, only a simple blade and his own skill. His opponent entered. The warrior was twice his size, with heavy armor and a long spear. Jack could feel the weight of the crowd's eyes. They expected him to fall. They wanted to see if the human could survive. A loud horn echoed. The trial began. The Thalari warrior charged fast. Jack rolled to the side, the spear missing him by inches. He moved quickly, using speed instead of force. He knew he could not win by power. He dodged again, then struck the side of the warrior's leg. The blade cut, but not deep. The warrior growled and turned fast, swinging the spear. Jack dropped to the ground and kicked the warrior's knee. The big Thalari stumbled. Jack jumped up and aimed for the chest, but the spear hit his shoulder. Pain shot through him. He fell back, breathing hard. The warrior walked toward him. The crowd grew louder. Jack stood again, blood running down his arm. He waited. When the warrior swung again, Jack ducked, stepped close, and used all his strength to stab deep into the weak spot below the armor. The warrior dropped the spear and fell. The crowd was silent. Jack stood, holding his shoulder. He did not cheer. He just nodded. The queen stepped into the arena. She looked at him. He passed, she said. Jack bowed his head. One down. That night, his wounds were treated. The pain was sharp, but he did not complain. The second trial was waiting. At dawn, he entered the Hall of Truth. It was cold and quiet. 10 Thalari judges sat in a circle. The queen stood beside them. This was the trial of truth. Jack was told to stand in the center. Stone at his feet began to glow. Speak, said one of the judges. Tell us your deepest fear. Jack took a breath. I fear failing. I fear that all this will be for nothing. I fear that peace is just a dream. The stone glowed brighter. Speak again, said another. Tell us your shame. Jack looked down. I once left a man behind. His name was Ryan. We were under fire. I ran. He didn't make it. I never forgot. The judges did not speak. The stone dimmed. Your truth is accepted, the queen said. He walked out of the hall feeling like a weight had left his chest. The truth had hurt, but it had also freed him. The final trial was set in the central city. It was a simulation, but no one told Jack what would happen. Suddenly, alarms rang out. A fake explosion shook the street. The Larry and humans in the area began to panic. Ak! Ran toward the sound. He found a small group of people trapped under a broken wall. Some were Thalari, some were human diplomats. He did not think. He began to pull stones away. Others joined him. He gave orders, calmed voices, lifted children to safety. Another blast hit nearby. Fire broke out. Jack grabbed a hose from a wall unit and fought the flames. When it was over, the streets were filled with smoke, but no one had died. The queen met him as the sky cleared. You passed all 3 trials, she said. Jack nodded. What happens now? Now, she said, we prepare for the wedding. As they walked back to the palace, Jack looked around. The Larian humans were speaking, helping each other. Not all, but enough. He felt the change begin. And he knew the hardest part was still ahead. The grand station floated between 2 stars. It was a place where no one had fired a shot in 100 years. Now it would host the most important wedding the galaxy had ever seen. Ships arrived from every corner of space. Human fleets, Thalari cruisers, and even ships from neutral worlds filled the sky. Cameras floated around the station. Millions watched the event from screens across planets and colonies. Inside the station, halls were filled with flags and banners. The humans wore black and silver. The Thalari wore red and gold. Guards from both sides stood together, looked peaceful, but everyone knew how fragile it was. Jack stood in front of a mirror. He wore a new uniform, one made by both Thalari and human designers. He looked tired but ready. He had passed the trials. He had led both sides in battle. Though he had to stand before the galaxy and make a promise. Knox, a human guard, and one of Jack's few friends on the station, stepped in. You sure you want to do this? Knox asked. I have to, Jack said. If this works, it means the war ends. You don't even know her that well. Jack gave a small smile. I know enough. I know she wants peace. So do I. That's a good start. On the other side of the station, Queen Xalira stood with her closest advisors. She wore a long dress made of black silk and silver metal. It shimmered under the light. Her face was calm, but her hands were tight. Are you ready, my queen? Ryaka asked. Ready enough, Xalira said. I am not marrying for love. I'm marrying for peace. But that may come later. The great hall was wide and tall, built from crystal and steel. In the center stood a small platform. Jack walked in from one side. Xalira entered from the other. Leaders, warriors, and citizens from both sides filled the hall. Room fell silent. A speaker stepped forward. A woman from a neutral world. She had no flag, only the voice of the galaxy. We gathered to witness a bond, she said. A bond between 2 who carry the hope of millions. Let this be the first stone laid in the foundation of peace. Jack looked at Xalira. She met his eyes. Neither smiled, but both understood. Do you, Jack Carter, the speaker said, accept this union, not as a soldier, but as a symbol of unity? I do, Jack said. What? Do you, Queen Xalira of the Thalari? The speaker said, accept this bond, not for power, but for peace. I do, Xalira said. Then let it be done. The hall exploded in cheers. Voices from every world shouted in joy. Fireworks lit the sky outside the station. Music began to play. But then, the lights went out. A loud blast shook the hall. Screams followed. Jack pulled Xalira down as another explosion hit. Guards rushed forward. Shots fired. Smoke filled the air. Stay close, Jack shouted. He grabbed a weapon from a fallen guard and shielded Xalira with his body. Ryaka and Knox joined them. Together they moved toward the exit. Who is attacking? Jack asked. Unknown, Knox said. but they came from inside. It was a planned attack. Someone did not want the peace to hold. They fought through narrow halls. Jack fired at shadows. Xalira used a small energy blade to defend herself. They moved like one unit. A grenade rolled toward them. Jack threw himself over it, but Nox grabbed it first and tossed it back. The blast shook the corridor. They reached the control room. Jack shut the doors behind them. "We need to send a message," Xalira said. "Show the galaxy we are alive. Show them we are united." Jack turned on the main screen. It connected to every ship and every station watching the event. "This is Jack Carter," he said. "We were attacked, but we are alive. Together, this peace will not break. Not today, not ever." Xalira stepped beside him. "To those who fear peace, we are not afraid of you. We will not return to war. This bond stands." Slowly, the crowd on the screen began to cheer. One ship, then another, sent out messages of support. The peace held. Later, after the danger was gone, Jack and Xalira sat alone. "That was not the wedding I expected," Jack said. Xalira looked at him. "No, but maybe it was the wedding the galaxy needed." Jack nodded. "We survived, and now they believe." Xalira touched his hand. "Now we build something better, together." Outside, the stars watched in silence. But across the galaxy, hope was alive. Jack woke up to the sound of soft wind and distant bells. He was no longer in the space station. He was in the Queen's palace on the Thaleri homeworld. Weeks had passed since the attack at the wedding. His wounds had healed, but the scars were still there. He walked out into the garden. The same glowing trees stood tall, their light shifting with the wind. Queen Xalira was already there, standing near the edge of the water. "Good morning," Jack said. "You rest better now?" she said. "I still dream of the attack, but not with fear. More like a reminder." She nodded. The peace was tested, and it lived. Now it grows. Word of the wedding and the attack had spread through the galaxy. Many thought the peace would fall apart, but it didn't. Instead, it became stronger. Human and Thaleri leaders began working together. Old enemies sat at the same table for the first time in 100 years. Jack and Xalira became the face of this new future. They traveled to human colonies, Thaleri cities, and neutral worlds. Everywhere they went, people came to see them. Some brought gifts, some brought questions, many brought hope. Jack stood before crowds and spoke not like a soldier, but like someone who had seen enough war. Xalira spoke with strength and vision, calling for a future without fear. They signed new laws. They built new stations, started training programs for mixed teams. Soldiers from both sides learned to fight together, not against each other. Not all agreed. Small groups still caused trouble. Some attacked ships, others spread lies. But they were fewer now. The people no longer listened to war talk. They wanted peace. One day, Jack visited a battlefield where he had once fought. The ground was quiet now. Flowers grew between broken metal. He stood there for a long time. Xalira joined him. "This place used to scream," Jack said. "Now it breathes," she replied. He looked at her. "You think it will last? If we keep building it?" "Yes." Jack smiled. "Then let's keep building." A few months later, a council was formed. It had members from all major worlds. Humans, Thaleri, and others. Jack was made a peace envoy. Xalira remained queen, but now she ruled with less war and more wisdom. Jack no longer carried a weapon, carried a voice, and people listened. I sat with old human generals and Thaleri warlords and helped them speak. He reminded them of what was lost, and what could be saved. One day, a young girl from a human colony asked him, "Are you a hero?" Jack shook his head. "No. I'm just someone who said yes when it mattered." The galaxy slowly changed. Ships moved without fear. Trade grew. Schools taught the history of the war, but also the story of the wedding that stopped it. Jack and Xalira never claimed to be perfect. They argued. They failed. But they never gave up. The palace became a place of learning. Young leaders from many worlds came there to study peace. On their second year as partners, Jack and Xalira returned to the same space station where they were almost killed. This time, it was full of music and light. "We come back not to remember fear," Xalira said, "but to honor those who held the line." "Peace is not easy," Jack told the crowd. "It takes work." It takes risk, but it is worth everything. The cheers were loud, not just from humans or Thaleri, but from all kinds of voices. That night, they sat on the station balcony and watched the stars. "You think they'll ever forget?" Jack asked. "They may forget our names," Xalira said, "but they won't forget what we did." Jack leaned back. "That's enough for me." The stars were quiet, but the galaxy had changed. Not because of a great battle, not because of a powerful weapon, but because a queen and a soldier made a choice. And from that choice, a better world began. Peace was not a dream now, it was real. It was just the beginning.